Life insurance is one of those industries, one of those businesses that people still like to be educated on, because there's so many different products, there's so many ways to do things. And so the more skilled you are, the more educated you are, the better results you will get with your clients. Make it fun, laugh, joke around. My advice to especially younger people in the business that are starting to grow their business:
focus on hitting your goals in every area of your business. Remember, the universe rewards the bold. A leader has to take the risks.
So are you somebody that's in the life insurance business? If you are in the life insurance business, watch this video, because I'm going to give you some tips, just a couple of strategies, ideas on how you can become more successful selling life insurance. So if you're up for that, do me a favor and smash that like button. Make sure you're subscribed. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. I really appreciate that. And we're going to get down to business, and you're going to get trained in the next couple of minutes on how you could become more successful in the life insurance industry. Number one, you got to get the skill. You got to get skilled if you're going to be successful. So when I got started 25 years ago, the first thing I did was I went to the library and I got every book on life insurance that I could put my hands on. You know, for example, there's a book called What's Wrong with Your Life Insurance by Norman Dacey. Now you got Consumer Reports, you got Money Magazine, Kiplinger's, LA Times, you name it. Lots and lots of publications that will teach you about how insurance actually works. See, because once you get skilled, once you know your stuff and you really understand how the actual products work, and you have that skill, now when somebody asks you a question, you're able to give an answer that is educated, instead of just making it up as you go along, or just saying you really need life insurance, you really need to do this, you know, this is important for your family. And I think that people want somebody to educate them, especially in this industry, right? Because people, let's be honest, people could go on the internet and get a quote. The reason why a lot of those people buy the wrong type of insurances when they just get a quote, or with the wrong companies when they just get a quote, is because nobody ever educated them. Life insurance is one of those industries, one of those businesses that people still like to be educated on, because there's so many different products, there's so many ways to do things. And so the more skilled you are, the more educated you are, the better results you will get with your clients. Number two, when we talk about getting skilled and getting educated, there are a couple of ways that has really helped me. One of the ways is get on YouTube and start watching videos like crazy. There's so many videos on how to sell better. When I talk about being skilled, I'm talking about being somebody that can communicate properly with a client, because people are going to buy from you because you're communicating your message properly. If you sit down with a client and you can't communicate your message, you can't ask the right questions, you're not one of those people that are able to ask good questions to get them to say yes, then of course you're going to have a lower closing ratio. So my advice to you is get on YouTube, watch videos like crazy, make sure that you're doing everything you can to get the knowledge base, the skill levels really, really high, so that when you're talking with a client, like for example, if I sit down with a client, I'm going to ask them, first thing I'm going to ask them is, what is the most important thing in your life to you? And then of course, when they say family, that is a very large yes signal. I call it a close. Okay, that's like one of my first closes in the whole process that I teach people. And in that process, when we teach how to close, if they say anything other than family, it might be a rough appointment. But if they say family, it's very often, right? I'm talking 80, 90% that we're going to get a yes at the end. And again, the yes is when they write that check, when I fill out that application, that is our yes. So make sure you're getting skilled, asking great questions, closing questions. Always think about, how can I figure out what the client wants? Because if I know what you want, I can give you what you want. This is an easy process here. You tell me what you want, but I got to ask you the right questions to get you to tell me what you want. Once I know what you want, I can give it to you, and then we can transact. Number 3, have an actual defined process that you can, that you can follow. And also you can duplicate if you're actually building teams and you're, building an organization. But we call it the process, or I call it, when I talk about it, the Alonzo process. And what that is a very defined presentation of things that we do step by step by step. And we basically build it in modules. So they're just little blocks, building blocks. So, it doesn't mean you're going to use all of those blocks on every single appointment. Some blocks you'll use, some modules you'll use, some modules you won't. Because one client might say, hey, look, I don't need help with any of these areas. And I'll say, okay, that's fine. I'm not going to help them with those areas, so I don't need all of those modules. I don't need those building blocks. I'll use the other ones though. And so it's a defined process. The bottom line is you gotta know what you're doing, and you gotta have something that you're gonna actually follow every single time. My presentation, for somebody that's been watching me for a long time, it is so boring to watch me do it. And it's boring because I've been doing it for so long. It's repetitive, it's very simple, it's easy to follow. It's kind of like McDonald's, right? I mean, every single day they make hamburgers, and they put the bun, and then they put the meat, and then they put the bun, and then they put the meat, and they put the bun, and they put the meat, and it's just over and over and over again. Well, I have a system, a process designed to get people to say yes. I mean, I'm talking 80, 90% of the time. It's very rare that a client that goes through my process that they will say no. It's very rare. And the reason why is because it's designed to get yeses. And as long as I do certain things, such as I may ask, Mr. and Mrs. Client, God forbid something were to happen to you, would you want your family to have a higher standard of living, lower, or remain at least the same? It's a question like that. These are little tiny closes, right? And I tell my agents all the time, I say, look, if you're, getting a lot of little yeses, you'll get the big yes at the end. So just throughout a process, get a lot of little yeses, get a lot of affirmations, just kind of like that yes buying momentum. As long as you're continuing to get that, at the end, you'll be able to get the big, giant, wonderful yes. Number 4, make it fun, laugh, joke around. Not a comedian. I'm not talking about being a comedian, but I am talking about have some fun during your process, during your presentation, because the clients need to chuckle a little bit, especially in the life insurance industry. It's kind of one of those subjects that a lot of people don't even like to think about, So, when I'm asking the medical questions, I'm like, hey, look, I mean, have you robbed any banks or anything like that? So, kind of asking the questions, do you have any felonies? And, have you gotten in trouble and with the law or anything like that? And so I'll ask, and they always chuckle, they always laugh. So there's little things that I'll do throughout the process that I do all the time. And it's only to kind of lighten up the situation a little bit. Not that this is a funny thing, but one of the things that I would always do is as I was filling out the application, I would always ask somebody, can you get me a drink of water? Or, here's a little presentation, or here's a little brochure that I want you to look at. And the reason why I would do that is because it kind of broke up the, it broke up the tension of the presentation. And so these are the little things that I want you to do as you build your process, as you design your process, or who knows, maybe me and you are going to get to know each other one of these days. Maybe you'll go through one of my how to close workshops or whatever, and then we'll have more conversations about, how to make sure that you can design a process that's perfect and right for you specifically. And I want you to check out the link below. I have a Wealth on the Beach club that you could actually sign up for. Anybody can sign up for it, and I teach how to close. Every single week I go live. I don't just teach how to close. I actually teach how to build a business. I teach recruiting. I teach building an organization. I teach processes. I teach duplication. I teach leadership. You name it, I teach it. Every single week I go live every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Every Wednesday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I go live, and for a half an hour I do a lesson. Then another half an hour I do a Q&A, a question and answer. So it really is kind of the most fun day of my week, because I'm able to train all these people and give advice and give knowledge and give value, and it's really cool. So if you want more information about that, check alonzoacademy.com. And in the little upper part of the website, there's a thing called, it just says Wealth on the Beach Club. And so if you'd like more information, there's a little video attached to that. Check that out. And if it's something that makes sense to you, great. If not, no harm, no foul. Number 5, as you're selling life insurance, you need to give energy versus take the energy away. And so life insurance is kind of tricky, because you are the salesperson. You are the person that's getting them to say yes. They got to write you a check at the end. So if you're taking away energy, or you're upset about something, or you had a bad day, you can't allow that to infect your presentation. And so my advice to especially younger people in the business that are starting to grow their business, you have to overcome mentally, you have to overcome anything that's going on in your life. And you have to put it aside. I call it compartmentalization. You need to make sure you compartmentalize your life, put everything in a little box. If you get upset about this, that's fine. Let it go. You'll get back to it later. When you're doing a presentation, when you're with your client, you have to stay focused. You have to stay with them, and you need to give energy. Be excited, right? I mean, this is not probably the most exciting subject to talk about, right? Nobody likes to talk about life insurance. But when you sit down with a client and they can passionately see in your eyes that you believe in what you're talking about, and that this is an important subject, and they do need to take this subject seriously, and you do ask the right questions that allow them to feel comfortable, they do trust you enough because of the questions, because of the relationship building that you created with them in the early part of the presentation. Because of those things, it's easier for them to say yes. And this is why energy is so important. It's so important you keep it up. You stay fired up. Doesn't mean you need to be loud, okay? Don't think for a second I'm talking about you need to be loud or, overly excited or overly, fired up or whatever. But remember, people can see energy in your eyes, right? They can see you passionately believe in what you're doing with your eyes. And by the way, this is where skill comes in. This is where knowledge comes in. So if you're skilled and you're knowledgeable, they can see it in your eyes that you know what you're talking about, because you're going to be more confident. So if you have more confidence, well, it's kind of an easy lay down thing, because they're going to feel comfortable with giving them your money because they believe in you. They believe you're the right person. They believe you're the person that's going to make sure that if, God forbid, something happens, their family's going to be taken care of. That's why you got to think about, right? I mean, what are you wearing? I mean, what are you how are you dressing? What does your hair look like? Are you wearing too much makeup? Are you, dressed too scandal, what is that? Sexy or whatever, right? I mean, you think about what you're doing when you're with a client. If you're on Zoom, think about it. If you're doing Zoom appointments and in the background there's all kinds of crying kids and kids drawing on the with crayon on the wall, and you're trying to do a presentation and it's messy and you have bad lighting and all this kind of stuff, that lowers your credibility. So think about the energy that you're creating. Think about the environment that you're creating when you're having these presentations and these conversations with potential clients. Number 6. Always do what's right. Look, man, one of the things that I pride myself in with is the fact that I do what's right 100% of the time. I do what's right for my clients, and I don't even care if I lose money. I don't care. I mean, there's been times I've sat down with people throughout the years, and I couldn't help them. Legitimately, I could not help them. I couldn't give them the best thing that I could give them. Maybe they had a pre-existing condition, or maybe they, maybe they just didn't have enough money, and I could see it. It was either money or it was either life insurance, or it was either food, and I advised them to buy the food. So again, I'm going to do 100% the right thing for the client. I love making money. I want to make billions of dollars. That's wonderful. That's great. But at the end of the day, I got to sleep, man. I got to lay my head on that pillow. And if you're not doing what's right, you can't sleep at night. I want to look back after I'm, here for 50 years or 100 years. I want to be able to look back and say, man, I'm proud of me. Again, money's going to come and money's going to go, but the way you feel about yourself, the integrity of doing what's right for that client when you know it's right? You know what you're selling. You know if your product's a good product or bad product. And if you know that it's a bad product, you need to stop selling that product and look at it mathematically. Can you win every single time mathematically? And if you can, then it's probably a good product. If you can't, then you might want to consider looking elsewhere. Do what's right. So important. And number 7, make sure that you are a people magnet, okay? You want to be that person when you walk in that room, people see you. Again, don't have to be loud, don't have to be, jumping around or anything like that, but you want people to see you. You want to create a magnetism about you. How do you do that? You do that by being a nice person, by smiling, by opening the door for the little old lady, even though you're not going to get anything from her. Because you don't know, somebody might be watching you, and they might come up to you afterwards and say, you seem like a really nice guy. I want to go into business with you. What do you do? Or, whatever it is. But when you walk in a room, have confidence. Believe in yourself. Believe that you deserve great things too. I get it. I mean, look, I totally understand not having a lot of self-esteem. When I started in business at 21, I didn't have a lot of self-esteem. I wasn't comfortable talking to strangers either. I was nervous to put myself in a situation where maybe I was going to say something wrong. So I had a lot of limiting beliefs that were on my shoulders. And I just want you to know that that's normal and it's okay. You don't have to worry about that. What I want you to do, though, is I want you to be the person that tries. Every day you get up and you try. You try again, try again, try again. And as time goes on, you're going to start feeling better about you. It's kind of like you feel proud of you. You're like, you feel like, wow, I overcame an obstacle and I became successful despite the limiting fears that I had. And that's going to make you feel more confident. You'll start becoming more magnetic, And look, when you fail and you get up and you try again and you go for it again and you do it again, remember, what's going to happen is that you're going to start feeling unbelievable about you because you failed and you rose. Fall down, right? I mean, think about it, right? If you fall down right now, you can get back up. So guess what? Fall down. Who cares? Fall down. If you fall down, get back up. You can you're going to survive. If they tell you no, it's okay. It's not the end of the world. So these are some of the key things that as a brand new person selling life insurance right now, you have to think about, right? It's a lot of mindset. It's a lot of asking the right questions. It's a lot of making sure that you're, building the right process and becoming more confident and creating that environment and becoming that person that people can honestly trust and they're going to feel comfortable going in business with. And if that's you right now, and maybe you're thinking about going into the life insurance business, I don't know. If you are and you're not, set up with another company, why don't you get in touch with me? Leave me a DM. Go to my website, alonzoacademy.com. Send me an email. Whatever it is, DM me on Instagram. Reach out and let me know because, a lot of people don't realize the life insurance business is one of the greatest businesses to build first generational wealth in America. And so if you know that, and you're sitting around on your couch right now going, man, I want a better life. And you're not doing anything else. Or maybe you're doing something else and you want to start something part-time with me or whatever. This is an opportunity for that chance in your life to be able to do that. Take advantage of it. Go for it. Why not you? Why can't you have a great life too? Why can't you live the life of your dreams like so many people are living right now? You can do it too. Start to believe in yourself again. I believe in you. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk. And who knows, maybe one of these days me and you are going to be great friends. With that said, make sure that you continue to dream bigger than ever. Get after it. Most importantly, do it now. God bless you. We will see you at the top. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button.